There. Great. If you haven't met me face to face before or in a zone like this, welcome. I'm Sambo Patrick, and I'm really excited today because there are times when people confuse their knowledge and give greater services or offerings, and that's what's happening this afternoon. And we're very grateful that you could dedicate this time. And I'm talking about Nathan Davies, and we're both going to today present what our years of knowledge to help you understand a really important process in the body, which is detoxification. So Nath, you could probably say good day about now. Close that down. And we've got a couple of slides together that we will share, and you can use chat. So if you won't let me, oh my goodness. Well, I really need to make sure that Nate can chat. Let's just, won't let me, need to make me co-host. This is real, live, in case there were any doubts that we were not real. Let me just see how I make you. Sorry, just give me a second, everybody. Sorry, I'll just be a second. Click my name and it should give you the option. Yes, I have. I should have put Justin back on.
Can you hear me?
Yes, there we go. Houston, we have contact.
I don't sound as nice as Justin, but there's my voice. Now, hopefully, my video going. So,
oh my goodness. Just thank you everyone for just going through the longest, probably 90 seconds of my day. But let's get down, and I'm going to share my screen and take you through. We won't mess around. We'll just get straight into what detoxing is all about and what we would love to see for everybody. Now, detoxification is a natural process in the human body. And if we didn't do that, we'd become toxic dead matter pretty quick. So, I'll often talk about the human body being this incredible temple and machine. And I really have so much awe for physiology and biochemistry and even emotions and how that wraps in spirituality, because we are a conglomerate of everything that goes on inside us. I'm just going to dull my photo so we can focus on the slides. But detoxification has become a lot more important than it was, say, 100 years ago. I mean, certainly I don't think 100 years ago we'd be having these conversations. But in the last even 50 years, in the last 30 years, the toxic burden on your body has escalated, so much so that if you're not taking positive actions to facilitate your body keeping up with detoxifying, it won't. It will catch up on your liver, it'll catch up on your kidneys, it'll catch up on your energy levels, and your body can become very sluggish. And that's because our human body was perfectly designed to deal with organic food, walking around without shoes on, culling a pig every now and then, or whatever your beliefs are around food, but certainly not dealing with toxic fumes from cars, from carpet, from paints, from pharmaceuticals, from being coughed on by other people. Like, things have radically changed. So it's very exciting that Nate and I are bringing this to you today. I'm going to share a couple of slides initially, and then we're going to see how this rolls. At any point, this is the chat. So if you haven't used chat before, you just put your questions in here. And I didn't spell questions right. If everyone could just start with the chat, let us know where you're from. Where are you listening from this afternoon? Are you down south, overseas, Queensland? Just pop in the chat. I love a good weather report. Byfield, where's Byfield, Mel? Hi from Adelaide, Townsville, hi, Goldie, Newcastle. Yay, Melbourne. Oh, hi, Di. Hi, Lucy. Good. I'm so glad you could make it on. Hi, Colleen. Oh, lovely. Good. Sydney, brilliant. WA is a couple of hours behind. Harvey Bay. Very nice. What's it like up there today? It's been freezing down here. Mount Cotton. Nice. That's like Sirame Winery. Tassie. Nice. Say hello to home for me. Hey, rainy old sunny coast. It's been funny, hasn't it? And can you please let us know, Tanya, where Palara is? Is that in Brisbane? Is that a suburb? And Lillian's from the Gold Coast. Lovely to have you on. Brisbane in the paddock, picking up poo and listening. Sophie, I am not changing places with you just yet, but one day we will. Won't let me show my video, however you can multitask while I chat. Good-o. That might have been to me directly from Nate. Victoria Sands, Sydney, Byfield, Yeppoon. New hotspot for growth. Hi from New Zealand. Oh, hi, Kerry. Lovely to have you on, darling. Central Coast Forest. Beautiful, just a light shower. Como, Perth. Oh, okay. So that's up between North Brizzy. Thank you, everybody. That was awesome. So let's jump in. And any point you want to put a question in or have, I mean, there's one now in the Q&A. Oh, Melbourne, cool. Just use the chat as you like, and we will take it in turns to try and get back to you in a timely manner, and assuming we have the answers that you might seek. Now, what I want to talk about, and we're going to get serious now. My tone of voice has changed, so lean in, everybody. I want to talk about detoxing. People don't come to me nor Nathan saying, well, sometimes they do, I want to detox. Generally, they'll come in and say, hey, I've got bad breath, or I can't sleep at night, or my tummy's really bloated. I feel massive discomfort in my belly region, or my clothes aren't fitting. I'm not too sure what's going on, or I'm here to lose weight, but I don't know where to start. And part of today was Nate and I have been talking about how can we help people effectively kickstart their weight journeys. We've both been around quite a few full moons now, and we know that when people start to lose weight, they can have a die-off detox effect, and we wanted to really cover that. Now, if you're not familiar with me, that's obviously a picture of me. I trained as a hospital and university trained nurse. I was on the out with the hospital training. So I got my training in the hospital, but went on to do tertiary training, critical care, ICU, emergency nursing for many moons. Got a 2-year diploma from Sydney Uni in pharmacology and have the degree in health science. 3 kids. And now I have got 10 published books. My next one is written, but at the moment this is taking more time and love. So that it's on the back burner. Excuse me, I've had a bit of a tickle this week. Nathan, be ready to take home the helm at any point. This is a book I wrote back in 2009. And it was about women's hormones. And at that point, excuse me, I had 5 staff, lots of patients coming to us. Half of our patients were referred by doctors. And we found this real, I guess, unsaid thing in women, and that was rage and anger and irritability. So I dove really deep on it. And what I found is a lot of women had high testosterone, not so much in menopause, but certainly during their fertile years. So this was the first book I wrote in my hormone series, and it's about high testosterone women. Now, excuse me, you can tell I'm trying to suppress my little tickle. That went on to become a bestseller and, interviewed by Lisa and all these other TV interviews, and that's just some of them. So I was going on TV quite a lot talking about hormones. And if you can imagine in 2010, 14 years ago, hormones had a really muddy, dirty word. And still to this day, it's funny how it gets kind of used, and it's like, no, everyone makes hormones. In fact, in order to breathe and maintain a blood pressure, you make hormones. So the conversations are changing. And, back then I was talking about cortisol. This was the bottom left one. I was talking about worry weight and how cortisol impacts on insulin and testosterone and adrenaline, can lead to belly fat. And a lot of you on because you follow Nate and I for our weight loss expertise. And this is why we feel this is a really important adjunct to all of that. Now, my specialties nowadays have become hormones, belly fat, menopause, burnout, infertility period, PCO, endo, weight and acne. Now, someone put their hand up. I just saw that flick up. Hi, Sam, great to be able to join. Dum, dum, dum. Cool. Sorry, whoever put their hand up, just see if you can pop something in the chat. Now, so that's kind of where I come in at. I love educating people, helping women understand their hormones, understand their health, because I do believe once you fall in love with food, fall in love with all our individual idiosyncrasies, then health and happiness just line themselves up. But sometimes getting onto that path, and there are multiple junctions in your life where that changes. Now, I'm assuming a lot of people listening to this are women, but it won't, men have similar issues. And particularly if we go through babies or menopause or, multiple things, stress at work, our body sometimes feels out of control. Now, Nate, are you able to take over from here, my dear?
I can. You'll have
Yeah.
to
Oh my God,
control.
this works. Yes.
You
Thank
do the
you.
controlling of the
Oh yeah,
power.
okay. I'll pay attention and scroll down. Yes, I'm ready. Oh yeah,
So
that's
yeah, look, everyone, I am from a background of being a naturopath, nutritionist, and herbalist. I practice at the Wellness Sanctuary in Southport, and I'm really practicing with a whole team. Some of them might be other naturopaths or kinesiologists, other nutritionists, IV nurses, psychologists, and holistic GPs. So really fortunate to have a team around where we can bounce ideas off each other and talk about each other's cases and just accelerate learning. The typical, overachiever, you had to do all the different things to learn the ins and outs. So I did 3 degrees back to back, all summer and winter schools, never had a break, never had a life. Luckily, I had some good friends that I was doing the degrees with. But, once I had finished one of those degrees, it was really amazing. The universe conspired to sort of get me in touch with this amazing holistic doctor, which took me under her wing and mentored me. And I've been mentored for about 15 years, from various holistic GPs. And in the clinic, I mean, we see all sorts of stuff. We've got like massive machines to put people into thermogenesis, hypothermia, IV nutrients, all sorts of stuff. So really my area that I love is, cancer, DNA repair, helping the body be toxin free. I really believe that the toxicity is the central component to gut health. And then from that, it stems onto hormonal issues. Fat comes on, sleep becomes an issue. People aren't drinking enough. It all starts, when you're a small child, the habits you have. So of course that transitions to parenting. And then the mental health that arises from, not being parented properly and being really toxic. And of course, like getting people on the track to wellness. And I love water. Water's recently become a passion of mine. So I've done, deep dives into what exactly is in our water, how do we filter it, how can we make it therapeutic? And I saw a gap in the market. Like there's, a lot of really good products out there. And so I developed my own supplement company because I wanted to make supplements that was saving patients time, combining all the nice, amazing therapeutic doses of all the ingredients that, I found worked. And so that's been a passion of mine over the last couple of years. And then, of course, people that need to drink water, right? We're mainly water. So, I don't know if you've ever smelt tap water before, but it's just disgusting. And we really need to be filtering that stuff. And so I just wasn't happy with off the shelf. So, of course, created a company that, designs and manufactures water filters. So now I'm helping out there, getting rid of helping to get rid of these PFAS and forever chemicals, along with the, good old fluoride and other contaminants that are, filling our drinking water.
Nathan, can I just ask you, because we're not going to talk specifically about water, and there might be an opportunity to chat more about it when we do discuss water. But this thing with fluoride, like we're both based on the Gold Coast, it's actively removed from 72 countries. But here on the Gold Coast, they made a decision without, it's meant to go to vote. But we now have fluoride in our water here. Do you want to comment about fluoride at this point?
Fluoride, look, it is a natural mineral, yeah,
Mm.
but there is a calcium fluoride and a sodium fluoride. When the calcium molecule is bound to fluoride, it's in that natural state where the calcium protects against the neurotoxicity of the fluoride. But no, we use the off waste product from aluminium smelting to produce energy, and they create this sodium fluoride, and they nicely dump it into our water. And so I'm noticing when doing heavy metal testing that if you have low iodine, you're going to usually have high fluoride. So it's like interfering with our endocrine system, especially our thyroid, and causing, our neurological issues in the brain. So it's a really nasty substance, and majority of the filters out there just don't remove it.
Okay, cool. Good to know. All right, keep going. You're on a roll.
Exogenous, a funny word, but it means external. So this is like toxins from the environment. So, it's not just the drugs out there, whether it be social or, pharmaceutical or medical, but environmental. So what does that mean, environmental? So there's things in the sky, things in our water that we just touched on, things in our food. Our food's being grown in soil that's contaminated. There's no nutrients. And so we're now buying veggies and it's full of contaminants. And then we've got, technology unfortunately progresses, but usually too fast to make sure it's safe. So there's the whole EMF, electromagnetic frequencies coming from microwaves, from cell phone towers, from cell phones, from laptops, some people's laps all the time. It's just like a constant bombardment of toxins damaging our body. We then have endogenous, so internal. So we're already toxic from the inside. Our body is like a massive big machine, and it's constantly breaking down cells that have to regenerate. We have to get rid of all those dead cells, whether it be red blood cells, white blood cells. Unfortunately, through stress, there's a whole bunch of things happen, and we'll touch on this, another time more deeply. But to give you a broad spectrum overview, things like reactive oxygen species are produced. So these are molecules that are actually damaging the cells. Think about an apple being cut in half. What happens to it? It goes all brown. That's oxidation. That's happening from stress through these, hydroxyl radicals, hydrogen peroxide, superoxide radicals that our body's naturally producing. But when we're stressed, it is elevated. And then, our gut is supposed to protect us from mouth to south. Nothing's supposed to get through that's not invited. And we want nutrients to come through. But unfortunately, toxins make their way through. They leak through the gut and then we become more toxic. Our body, the poor thing, is already trying to deal with things like ammonia and urea, which is just a breakdown waste from, making proteins and amino acids. And that's literally what your urine is. Your kidneys filter your blood, pull stuff like the ammonia and urea out, and that is how urine forms. You pee it out. But again, that we have to rely upon our lymphatics and liver and kidneys and spleen to do that process. So yeah, we are just bombarded with toxins from every direction. One of those is sugar. So I didn't even mention the exogenous toxins, like we spoke about what happens when your produce has all these chemicals sprayed on it. But what happens when those chemicals are put in substances that we're consuming, such as sugar? Sugar is one of those things that is so inflammatory that it is able to create something called AGEs, advanced glycation end products. And these things literally age us. If that's how you want to remember age, we're being aged from these harmful compounds that are formed when protein or fats combine with these sugars in the bloodstream. And so it's just ridiculous the amount of sugar that's in things that we wouldn't expect to be in there. Some things it's obvious, like, what you're looking on screen right now, but there's a lot of hidden sugar in our foods and we are constantly consuming it. So it's not all about sugar being converted to fat. Yeah, that is a problem. It's also about the inflammation that the sugar is driving, which is an even bigger problem.
Yeah, and I think we will discuss fatty liver and how it's affecting people. So in the USA, at the moment, 1 in 3 adults has a non-alcoholic fatty liver. That means they haven't drunk heaps of alcohol, but they've got this layer of fat around their liver, impairing its function. And 10% of those, or maybe a higher number, go on to get cirrhosis, pancreatitis, and pancreatic cancer. These are the things that we know are in our food chain, but are not getting the bad thumbs down that it probably should. And, I'm just looking at this Nestea here. It's interesting how many people say, oh, no, I'll have a nice tea. And they think they're having a healthy alternative. But still, these products have so much sugar. I mean, if it's unless it's water, pure water, and maybe a fermented wine or a kombucha, then you're really putting stuff in your body that you don't want in there. Yeah, do you have any comments about the non-fatty liver, alcoholic fatty liver, while we're chatting about it?
It's really an amazing mechanism, Sam. So your body has to remove toxins, and if it can't, they are stored. And our body produces fat as a protection mechanism and throws a whole bunch of toxins in the fat, which happens usually to be on the liver. So a big part of that process of having a fatty liver is a sign you've been toxic for a very long time and your elimination pathways are congested.
Mm. You can pop in the chats if you've got any questions as we go, folks. Yeah, please keep going.
And yeah, look, as I said, there are so many chemicals out there in the world, and barely any of them are being tested to see is it safe for us to consume them. When you're looking on the back of products of anything you're putting in and on your body, whether it be transdermally, so all the beautiful makeups and skincare and cosmetics you're using, you're looking at things like propylene glycol, polyethyl glycine, PEGs, sodium lauryl sulfate. There's a whole list of nasties that you should be avoiding, just like on your skin. And these are some of the things you can control. And we touched on heavy metals before. So mercury, for example, is a neurotoxin. It blocks a whole bunch of different nutrients like zinc and selenium. And you may not have, I don't know, you may have remembered the term Mad Hatter. That's literally the guys were in the olden days wearing these hats, and it had a line of like lead in the hat, and they would go mad because they would be absorbing lead. So like lead, mercury, cadmium, arsenic, these are things, and aluminium I'm regularly looking at in heavy metal testing, and we're full of it. And unfortunately, children are born toxic.
Mm.
Over 80% of the toxins found in the mother's bloodstream are also found in umbilical cord, meaning they're passing through.
That's the real worry to me. How do we stop what's going on now? And more importantly, how do we now cleanse our little babies and the younger generations? And I mean, even people are shocked when they hear that a bird that is only found in the Himalayas has microplastics in its tummy. It's like this is a global issue we have. That the planet is toxified.
Yeah, unfortunately, it is. And it all starts with doing one bit at a time. Even if you led the most perfect toxin-free life, you are carrying a burden from your grandmother.
Mm. Well, we'll try and make it a bit more upbeat, people. Sorry. But these are
No,
just some common toxins, so yeah, keep going.
there's always like, as I said, small steps. We'll talk
Yeah,
about at the end, what we can do.
yeah.
Um, so yeah, the common toxins that you may not even think about. This is just surrounding us all the time. And I was mentioning, the PEGs and the propylene glycols. Here's some of the things that are used in the industry. Uh, you know, the BPS and BPA, for example, in plastic bottles. If you're drinking out of plastic bottles, especially if they've been sat in the warm weather or in a
Mm.
warehouse, not only is there micro plastics you're referring to, Sam, it's also got all these hormone disrupting chemicals. So yeah, it's really important that we take charge of what we can deal with. Heavy metals, they're the ones I was talking about before. So, Sam's nicely got this chart here that's talking about where they come from and what's the action on the body if you do have them. And those four right there are the common ones. I would add lead to that list.
Oh, yeah, lead would be on there as well.
Yeah, so they're just in everyone. You can do
Mm.
something about it though, and it all starts with, what water you're drinking, what food you're eating, focusing on gut health. You've really got to patch that lining of the gut up and just make better choices and increase your education, like what we're teaching you guys today about how to avoid this.
Yeah, and even like, Nate and I have people who come to us at what we would consider straightforward. We also have people who come to us who are complicated or complex. And a good historian, a good health practitioner will take you back to your childhood or even take you back to your mum. Where did your mum and dad grow up? Tell me about, what happened as a child, not just for social and psychological understanding, but what environment did you grow up in? Because often, and I'm sure you're the same, Nate, I've found that people have grown up or their mum and dad were on a farm and they would have had crop spraying. And we know the ramifications of that now, but it gives understanding to what's been happening at a cellular level and inside the person's body, which then opens up solutions to help the person heal.
100%. It all stems back to childhood and what you're exposed to in your environment and your parents to some degree as well.
Yeah. Oh,
So again, water is something that we're consuming should be on a daily basis. And if you're not sure how much water you should be drinking, a average should be about 40 mil per body kilo. So if you weigh 100 kilos, that's 4 liters. Whatever your weight is, you times that by zero point 0.4, and it gives you an idea of how many mil you should be drinking. But we really want to be filtering that stuff out and removing all of the contaminants. It's, like not only is our body made of water, our body utilizes water to shuttle nutrients into cells, to shuttle toxins out of cells. It is helping make up the components of our blood, the components of our tissue. So imagine you're a fish tank, right? And all the fish in there are all your organs and cells. Those fish, i.e., your organs and cells, can only work as good as the environment that they're living in, i.e., the fluid. So if you're topping this up every day and it's contaminated, full of fluoride and the disinfection byproducts and things like now these forever chemicals, chloroamines, all this stuff, it accumulates. These are like biotoxins, and the forever chemicals are aptly named because they're in there forever. So we want to make a huge effort to stop the accumulation of them. Interestingly, Sam, did you want to tackle this, or you let me know when, because I'll just talk forever otherwise.
Yeah, no, keep talking. I'm loving it. Thank you.
So a lot of the time we're testing in the, pathology, depending on what you want to get tested, hormones best for saliva and urine. I do a lot of testing for homocysteine and histamine because a big part of homocysteine's role in our body is our something called methylation cycle. I won't get too deep into it, but methylation is one of those liver pathways of removing waste, and it helps control mental health along with cardiovascular disease. So if you're simply lacking in, methyl groups like B12, TMG, and other cofactors like B6, and having the correct form of folinic acid, you don't really want to be consuming a whole bunch of folate, then this deficiency is going to impede the ability for us to detoxify, control our mental health, and help with heart disease. Homocysteine is linked to atherosclerosis, which is the thickening of the arteries, actually, and is very rarely tested because the GP will not usually test for something unless they can assign a medication to it. And the only way to fix homocysteine is more B6, more B12, SAMe and methionine. So yeah, our bodies, I touched on previously, like these AGEs and the free radicals that we're producing, we kind of need free radicals to have a particular process within the body, like trying to kill off some pathogen. We create a whole bunch of hydrogen peroxide for that. And we need inflammation sometimes, but that's often we're under such stress that this process that initially was required goes out of control and damages a whole bunch of cells. And again, going back to the apple analogy, where it's just, breaking down, that's aging. When you've got cells rapidly growing out of control, that's cancer. So I think really the gut is the center as to the importance of our health. We are made up of more bacteria than any other cell. We have more bacteria than anything. Let that sink in. So if you don't have a good gut microbiome, you are letting things grow out of control and roam free. And that is going to lower your immunity. And the gut really is, going to lead to upstream issues like weight gain, diabetes, hormonal dysfunction. So just imagine when you can actually take charge and start eliminating all these toxins, doing something to heal the gut, you are really treating the core problem of the body. The gut inflammation and toxicity really is central to everything else working properly. I was mentioning that what happens when you don't have a good gut, when you do become toxic. So all of a sudden, think about it. From mouth to south should be one tube, right? And all of our nutrients are being absorbed into our small intestine to use for all the things that we need to make neurotransmitters, make hormones, for repair work. But things leak through that shouldn't be there. And this inadvertently, the liver has to cop this and deal with it. A good sign, not a good sign, but a sign that your liver is struggling is stuff starts coming out through the skin. your endocrine system and your thyroid. So endocrine is encompassing all the hormonal systems, and your thyroid and your adrenals. So when you're getting symptoms from those things, tired, hair falling out, stressed, angry, irritated, menopause, you just hot flashes all the time. It's not that that's the only issue, it's stemmed from the gut disorder in the first place. All the toxins, inflammations, exacerbating it. So how do we get rid of some of these toxins? Through these mechanisms. We sweat them out. That's where BO comes from, body odor, because you should have been peeing them out. It should have been going out through the bowels. But if it's had to come out through the skin, that's why it smells, because you have not eliminated those toxins as you should have. And your microbiome's all out of balance, and now you're growing bacteria you shouldn't, and you're smelling. We're breathing out a lot of toxins actually, and crazy, we breathe out fat. That's we pee it out and we breathe it out, depending on if you're in ketosis or what your thermogenesis is doing. You're breathing out and peeing it out. And the liver is also the one metabolizing all the excess hormones, all the pesticides, all the herbicides, all your own toxins, your metabolic waste. And if you're carrying some little, parasites and viruses and bacteria along for the ride, it's trying to deal with their waste at the same time.
Feel so sorry for our liver. Like it just, honestly, every part of our beautiful temple does so much, and I just feel like our liver cops a lot. It's such an incredible organ. Does anyone have any questions at this point that you've been wanting to ask? We're going to move into a bit more about this now. Yeah, we've got a question up here. Love your liver, live longer. Yes, live longer for sure. I'll take over for a little bit, then we might flip back. So Nathan was just saying how, our body is a conglomerate of warehouse systems and detox systems, and they all play an incredible role. From our blood, which, is it's a trap system. It gets shuttled around our body via our heart. But because there's positive pressure in there, so it can reach all our extremities, a certain amount cytoplasma and serum will leak out, and it's meant to. That's what it's designed to do, to go to the cells, where all the cellular exchange occurs. But there's a percentage that doesn't get reabsorbed at that point. A lot does drain back into the venous system and stays within that closed system. But there's a huge percentage every day. I think it's like 2.5 litres, is it, Nathan? 3 litres a day, maybe? But
Yeah, something like that, Sam.
like it's quite when you think about it, and you can see this dramatically in people who have lymphatic congestion or have their lymph nodes out in hospital. It doesn't take long for 3 litres in one day to accumulate in your ankles, and you can get cellulitis and inflamed or enlarged or edematous extremities. So the lymph plays a very important role too. Now the lymph is a series of like little drainage pipes. It's kind of the unsaid drainage pipe of the body. But if you've got an infection or there's a lot of toxic load in there, sometimes at certain junctions called lymph nodes, they'll get enlarged and you won't drain as well. And it is a very important part of this whole detoxing our temple process. As Nate alluded to, the lungs do so much. I mean, we think of the forest having a respiratory system as we do, and they're almost in unison. We blow out, they breathe in. They blow out, we breathe in. The lungs do so much, and if anyone's had a chest infection or struggling for breath, they love their lungs a little bit more than before. The skin is the largest organ of the body, and I think it's often underestimated how much toxic matter is absorbed through our skin. So, think about clothing types, whether it's synthetic, if it can breathe. So cotton and hemp are really popular fabrics, even I guess wool to a lesser degree, but there's certainly a lot of fabrics that are natural and permit your skin to perspire, because we need that expiration or that perspiration and breathing of the skin as well to occur. The colon, which we'll talk a little bit more about, the liver and colon, when the kidneys, the bit of the blood gets shunted from the, once it goes around the, off the heart, the aorta, goes straight down to the kidneys and goes through this, filter system, as does the liver. But the liver plays a slightly different role with the colon. So I always think of them like our detox major plant per se. So the liver has what we call conjugates, which we should be eating in our food. However, unless we're eating, a squeaky clean diet, sometimes we lack these incredible cofactors and conjugates that come in from our food and into our system at the liver area where a lot of detoxification occurs, will bind to it, and then it can get passed out in what we know as a feces or a bowel motion down the colon. So both of those two, I mean, they all are so important, but those two are where a lot of people tend to trip over themselves and not get full evacuation of toxic matter. This is a nice little graphic I pulled off the internet the other day, just showing how, we inhale toxins. It comes through our skin, our gut, through foods, and the fat-soluble toxins will, like pesticides and heavy metals and the like, will get sucked up into our fat cells. So the body doesn't want these toxic things circulating in our bloodstream because those free radicals do a lot of damage within the arterial wall. So the body has this process where it's like, right, let's get it out of there. Let's get our circulation. Let's pop it in the fat cells. Let's store it in the liver. Even the central nervous system, which is, really food for thought, particularly with Parkinson's and Alzheimer's kind of raging ahead, and bone marrow. Now, the liver is considered the primary detoxifying organ, but as I said before, they all are so important. And toxins we can go through the skin, kidneys, colon, lungs. Now, water-soluble toxins tend to get placed in our joints, some in our blood, our tissue just being general tissue and muscle. And some of you will relate to these symptoms, and you can pop in chat if you're on here for a specific reason. We'll keep it general, but we're happy for you to share. Like certainly people with skin issues, joint aches, inflammation, autoimmune conditions, even cardiovascular health. That was my main specialty for many years, and atherosclerosis. And I was so privileged in my years as a rep that I would be going to, the big hospitals in the world, listening to cardiologists, and all of them, apart from Australia really, talk about cardiovascular disease being an inflammatory process, often triggered by chlamydia, which is an infection, other things creating that ugly soup. And, it's still the #1 cause of death in this country. Chronic fatigue, constipation, diabetes, diarrhea, body aches, fibromyalgia, headaches, hormone imbalances, inflammatory issues, irritable bowel, and obesity and being overweight can all be because your detox and elimination pathways are a little bit clogged up. Now, there are many ways to assist all those pathways. So for your skin, you can do this dry skin brushing. It's like a horse brush. You can do body wraps, saunas, hot, cold, use natural fabrics. Kidneys, there are lots of natural diuretics, herbs, dandelion tea. Filtered water is an absolute non-negotiable nowadays. You really do need a good water filter. Bowels, there's lots of different bowel cleansers you can use, and fibers. I mean, food itself will have a lot of natural fiber in it, which plays like a, not a chelating role, but it draws things to it like a sequestrant. It brings in the rubbish in the bowel so you can poop it out. Colonics, that's the reverse flush, which are also very popular overseas, and I think should be used a little bit more here as mainstream health promotion. Lungs, salt rooms, inhalations, and liver. There's a lot that can be done for your liver. Now, we touched on the testing. We might touch on it at another point during the week, but if you go to a GP and you say, I just want to check my liver, see how it's going, they're going to likely do a blood test called electrolyte liver function test, ELFTs. And that will give a smattering of things. Now, it'll look at GGT and AST and liver enzymes, and there's about 8 that it'll measure. But the issue with this is you will only have an increase in your liver enzymes if your liver is being actively damaged. It doesn't tell us the function of your liver, the capacity it's at, or anything else. So there are more sophisticated tests you can do. Nate has his, he does certain tests. I do a hair test. You can do blood sugar levels. You can puncture your liver and get a biopsy. I don't recommend that for every day, but if if they're concerned about flukes or cancer, you might end up at a specialist and that's what they'll be doing. Or it can just be symptomatic. So symptomatic or imperial treatment, and many of you on here will be going, yeah, that's me, that's me, that's me, that's me. That means that your symptoms are ticking the box. Your detox pathways need a little bit of love. We've covered now. There are lots of different detoxes. Okay, you can, if you're not on cholesterol lowering drugs, please do not try this at home if you are, because grapefruit's contraindicated. But, you know, you can do these. These detoxes have been around for years. There's the maple syrup one. There are supplements and powders. You can brush colonics. I do a detox in Bali every February. There's lots of things, but Nathan would like to talk about these two products, which I have in front of me, and I'm very excited by these because these do a detox safely. So would you mind explaining, Nate, just what these are about, please?
Yeah, sure, Sam. So a big part of detoxifying is making sure that I always explain the way the liver detox is almost like an amusement park. Whenever I drive past, 'cause I live on the Gold Coast, whenever I drive past Wet and Wild, I see massive lines of people trying to get into the park. And our liver has like two phases. The first phase is converting all the toxins stored in fat to being water soluble so that it can get them into the liver. And then they're all lining up, and there's four pathways that they need to get in through to the liver. Methylation, acetylation, glucuronidation, and sulfonation. And if you don't have the conjugates that Sam was talking about before, different vitamins and minerals, then all these toxins waiting in line are very volatile and they can't get out. And so when I put this together, I'm like, right, I'm going to make sure the liver has a bunch of these conjugates, all these cofactors, things like, glycine and taurine, calcium D-glucarate, glutamine, MSM, broccoli sprouts, and then herbs like St. Mary's thistle, dandelion, because I want to make sure that the metabolic waste is floating around our body that we're creating. Remember those endogenous toxins and a bunch of exogenous toxins? I want them to have a safe path out. But because the liver works in unison with the spleen and the kidneys to filter the blood, they need to be supported too. And we do get things out through the bowels, so and not just breathing and peeing it out. So it's all about supporting those pathways. I didn't want to create a supplement that would actively throw someone into a detox and give them all these reactions. This is a very gentle one that just supports what the body should naturally do, and low in all these usually when supplements are made, they throw in, artificial colors and flavors and sugars and sweeteners and excipients. So there's none of those in there. It's just all the raw herbs and the raw herbs, vitamins and minerals. There's nothing is added that someone would react to, because the whole point of trying to detoxify them is they're usually chemically sensitive. So that's what the Detox Assist was designed for that supportive mechanism. And you've heard me harp on about the gut and how important the gut is. And so some of the other toxins in our food are called lectins. Dr. Gundry has a great book, Plant Paradox, and you can download his PDFs, give you a bit of a safe shopping list. And lectins are something that the plant generate to defend themselves against insects and predators eating them when they're not ripe. And that's what genetically modified crops are. They're increasing, one part of it, increasing these lectins. And unfortunately, that's things like barley grass, oatgrass, wheatgrass. So I wanted to make a organic greens powder that didn't have any of those in there. Being a typical overachiever I am, I wanted to do more than just being a greens powder. So I put things in there like moringa, holy basil, gonostema, nettle. And so these superfoods all have amazing health benefits themselves. And the third, I guess, reason for making this was helping the gut. A lot of the microbiome analysis that I'm doing, I'm constantly seeing something called low secretory IgA. This is our first line of defense against pathogens and viruses, and it's how our immune system understands good versus bad. So there's a whole bunch of things in there like maitake mushroom, choline, kale, that's helping to create this secretory IgA mechanism and keep it nice and healthy, making those short-chain fatty acids. So again, there's nothing in there that's artificial, colored, flavored, sugared. There's not even fruit extracts in there. It's just all organic, natural. So they pair really nicely together, a very gentle blend combined that I get patients to do twice a day. And it's just nice enough in chilled water. Really palatable. Like, yes, I am biased because I did make them, but I've had some pretty nasty detoxes that are just like disgusting or overly sweet and flavored. And so I wanted to make mine as neutral as possible, on the edge of being like refreshing. So that's kind of like how I've made them. And for those that do love vibrational medicine and energy medicine, like I'm as scientific as they come and a skeptical person as they come, but practicing with holistic GP Dr. Young Price has really taught me the importance of vibrational medicine and energy, and we're all energy. So the products, along with having all those therapeutic doses, have all vibrational frequencies built into them for that next level benefit. So the body kind of recognizes all the stuff in there and is more compatible with it. So I find even people with a few sensitivities to some of the ingredients, their body tends to tolerate them a lot better. Of course, you still have to, if you do have a reaction or intolerance to certain ingredients, you do need to chat back with your practitioner and make sure that it's safe to take.
So we're both excited because we know this is springtime in Australia where we're both based. And I normally do my Get Fit, Lose Fat for Summer campaign personally and also professionally. I have a group, Get Fit and Fab for Summer. So kickstarting anything with a mini detox like this is fantastic, particularly knowing that it's designed by a naturopath. It's gentle on the tummy, and you've got the two products to go hand in hand. So when Nate and I were talking about this and how we can most help people, so these are Nate's products. And what we're going to do for people listening to this is give people like you buy the product, but we're going to give you some additional support. Now, I'm just going to grab this and put it in the chat. Have people got questions while I'm putting this in the chat? So someone was asking about oxalates. Could you tell us your spin on that?
Yeah, so oxalates are found in vegetables,
Yeah.
and I have looked at the ingredient list in mine, and some vegetables, yes, do contain oxalates. So it is a low oxalate blend, but there are vegetables in there that make sure that do contain some oxalates. But again, those patients who are really chemically sensitive to everything, amines, salicylates, um, oxalates, lectins, I haven't had anyone react with it. So yeah, very, very clean, gentle formula.
Perfect. And what we find is, as naturopaths, when it's, supervised as well, or with us as backup, things like mast cell activation, histamine, all those things that people are really struggling with often improve with a detox. So what Nate and I are going to do for people who buy this product this afternoon, we're going to also offer 4 webinars. Now, it's only for people who buy the 2 products, and I think we priced it at $157. So, that's affordable for majority of people. And we're going to, on every Monday for the next 2 weeks, and Fridays I'll be doing the daytime one. We'll be talking a little bit more, giving you more understanding about your beautiful temple, so you can also, become really mindful around your body moving forward. But you might also, you might have children, or you might have a husband that you want to help as well. And this will just give you that deeper layer. Plus, you'll get to check in with us. And if you've got any questions as you go, that you can do that. So Monday, tomorrow night, 7 o'clock, these are all Queensland time. We're based in Queensland, so you'll just have to adjust the clock wherever you are. Nate's going to be talking about exogenous toxins and why people get sick. On the Friday this week, I'll be talking about foods and certain foods that aid detoxification and certain herbs, and why I'm adamant that you have to be eating organic nowadays. The following Monday, we'll be talking about let's just put an N in there. And Friday, the 25th, I'll be talking about other detox methods. So if you click on this link now, I'll put it in chat. If everyone can just please click on it, because what will happen, that'll pop it up into a browser. You'll be able to purchase this after we field some questions. But if you haven't got that saved, you might miss out. We don't want that. So how long do you need to use the products for, Nath?
On average, I would do at least a month of detox. And so for someone that's been detoxing regularly and they don't really have that many toxins, there's not that much inflammation, hormonal imbalances, they're pretty clean. A month doing 1 teaspoon a day is good enough. If you do have a bit of weight and there's some hormonal issues and inflammation and you haven't really done anything for quite some time, I would probably be doing it at least twice a day for 1 to 2 months, depending on what else is going on.
Excuse me. Someone's asked regard to certain foods and things to introduce. And I'll be covering this on Friday. I do think there are foods that clog our bodies up. There's no doubt about it. And I'm sure Nathan would agree with me. There are things that will facilitate and help your body detoxify, such as a broccoli soup, going off the pork roast for a couple of days or a couple of weeks, just to help your body through this beautiful process of cleansing itself out. So yes, I think it's important to marry in the food at the same time, just to really amplify your results. Would you agree?
Totally. The less stress you can put in your body and on your body, every night when you're sleeping, you're detoxifying, you're repairing. And so if you wake up the next day and you don't have good sleep, you go off and eat all the wrong foods and put all the wrong things on your body and drink all the incorrect substances, it just has so much more work to do to fix that day. And at night, if it doesn't get to fix it all, it's one step behind the following day. And you can imagine if you just keep doing that, you accumulate years of credit card debt, healthcare debt that needs to be paid back. So that's why I'm like, doing a month detox is like a minimum. Who knows like how much health debt you racked up on your credit card. That's why we just need to like chip away at it continually and prevent putting more back on. Stop spending. It's okay sometimes to go have a good time and you know eat a few naughties, but majority of the time, just think of it like a credit card. The moment you go to eat that thing or drink that, soft drink, I'm just adding to my credit card. How often am I paying this thing off? That's how I love thinking about it. And most of the time that deters me from making that choice of eating that or drinking that particular substance.
Perfect. Mills says, my husband heard that broccoli isn't good for us. I don't know where he got that information from. I think broccoli, it would be in my top 10 superfoods for sure. And it has in it, apart from phytonutrients and folinic acid and other things that our body, fiber and other things our body needs, it has an enzyme which facilitates or helps with breaking down estrogens, which xenoestrogens are one of the biggest challenges really of 2024 and beyond. How do we help our body keep estrogens down, particularly when they're exogenous? So I don't know about that one. Not too sure where you heard that. Link works great. Someone said, how long does each packet last? How long would a pack last?
30 servings in each pack. So if you're only doing it one a day because you're quite clean, then that one a day serving will last you a month. But if you haven't done anything for quite some time and you've got a lot of debt on that credit card, you probably do it twice a day. And crazy thing about broccoli, this is how amazing I love broccoli. Broccoli, when it is immature, growing, produces something called glucoraphanin and sulforaphane, which protects it from insects and other predators. And these two are some of the biggest breakthrough substances that, from a nutritional standpoint of view, we have found in science, glucoraphanin and sulforaphane. They switch back on genes that have become mutated, like a Christmas tree, lights turning on while you're taking it. So it's amazing for the liver. And in the detox, I'm actually in the greens, I use organic broccoli. And in the greens, I use a broccoli that has a standardized amount of that glucoraphanin. So yeah, I'm also a big fan of broccoli.
Any other questions, people, while you've got Nate and I? Just make sure, I mean, these, the fact you get these products and you get Nate and I over the next 2 weeks, I think is fantastic. And we want to see people, this time of year, by the 1st of November, how much cleaner is your body going to be? How much healthier is it going to be? And we'd love you to help you with it. Someone asked if it's on my website. No, it's not. You love all the big words. I think Nathan's probably got more in his repertoire than me. How do we save the link? When I touch it, nothing happens. Diane, just try clicking on it again.
I think in the chat, guys, I've got the link on the screen. That won't be a clickable link that Sam has up in front of you.
No,
But in the chat, I've popped the link that you can actually copy or just click on it. It'll take you straight to the website.
perfect. Just ordered. Great, Lucy. I think it's a good one for you to be on, darling. If you don't have easy access to organic fruit and veggies, is it still available? Is it still viable to bother detoxing? Of course, anything is beneficial. But I'm pretty sure, Colleen, aren't you down in Canberra? Surely the heart of our nation has good produce. I'm saying a bit cheeky, aren't I? You might need to start growing your own, darling, because I think, being able to self-nourish, grow your own food chain is so powerful. But yes, it will be beneficial, even if you can't get to an organic market.
And in the course, what we'll actually discuss with you guys, if you aren't able to get organic, what are some of the ones or strategies of being able to clean your vegetables to remove a bunch of pesticides and herbicides from them?
What do you use hydrogen? Is it hydrogen peroxide? No.
There's a couple of different things. So,
Yeah.
if you've got a machine that produces highly alkalized, electrolyzed, reduced water, that acts as a emulsifier for the fat, and crazy enough, water can break down fat when it goes through this electrolysis process and sodium gets added to it. But if you don't have access to that, yeah, I'll give you guys a bit of a protocol. Yeah, vinegar, bicarb soda, for example.
So vinegar and bicarb soda, it'd be like half a teaspoon of bicarb with maybe,
You know those laundry baskets, little white ones that you can
yeah.
hold in your hand, the size of your chest, I guess. We just fill that up with water. Things like bicarb and vinegar, I have to go back to my research and see the percentage. I have a
Yeah.
feeling it's like only going to remove about 13 to 15, maybe up to 20% of them. Some of the other methods are closer to 86%.
Now, someone's just asked if they're taking the hops product, which is this new weight loss product, when should they detox? So I just talked to this person the other day and I've asked them to bring the hops to the first part of the day. They could potentially do this detox around lunchtime, couldn't they?
The way I do it, Sam, I take the hops in the morning, the extract, and then 20 minutes later, I do the detox and the greens, and then around 2 p.m. I do another squirt of the extract, and then I do 20 minutes later. It doesn't have to be exactly 20, it can be half an hour, it can be an hour, or more. I then do another lot of the detox and the greens.
Perfect, thank you. Are there any other questions while you've got us both here? When you purchase these two products through the website, we will grab your email from there and let you know the Zoom links. It'll be the same Zoom link for these 4 days, so you can jump on and join them. If you can't make them, we will record them and send them out. So these are opportunities for you to really burrow down deep and learn about detoxing. And not only that, but detox your body. Like it's such a wonderful time of year to do it, an invitation to do it safely and under the supervision of 2 naturopaths. So if there aren't any more questions, how long before we aren't able to benefit the special? It's just a today thing. Like we put this together yesterday. Sure, you could go back in and buy the product another time, and that is fine. But if you want to have our 4, seminars as well, then that's the package, the link we sent you to. So take advantage of it. And Nate, have you got anything else you want to wrap with?
Yeah, Colleen, good point. I like how your mind works. Essentially, the products are cheaper by themselves, but for an extra, it's like I think it's only $20 or so. You get Sam and I for 2 weeks. So that price for the two products together includes those 4 times with us as an added bonus. Literally, our time is almost virtually free. It's just a way to get someone on the right track as affordable as possible and be able to support them throughout it.
100%. My 8-week detoxes are normally, just under $1,000. So you're getting all that at a pretty reduced rate. So if there aren't any more questions, we might let you all get on with your beautiful Sunday. And yeah, it's a today thing. Jump in because we're starting tomorrow. And thank you so much, Nathan, for your wisdom and being on today and explaining things for everyone. I've really enjoyed it. And yeah, have you got any last wrapping words?
No, that's it. It's never too late to start. Any little bit, any small step helps. It doesn't matter, if you're not going to be able to do everything perfectly. Every little action makes a difference.
Yeah, perfect. All right. Well, thank you very much. And thank you everyone for being on. Have a beautiful rest of the day. And hopefully we will see you tomorrow night and Friday. All right, bye for now.
Thanks, everyone. Have a great weekend.
Bye.